Alright, what's happening, dudes? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Kevin Duty, and we're talking about 3 Finch knives today. I've been obsessed with Finch knives recently. Really great knives. But first, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and push the button. You'll be glad you did. And follow me on Instagram at duties_daggers. That way you're all up to date on channel news and info, and you'll see some cool pictures up on there. So, I just uploaded a unboxing of these two here. These two were sent to me by a subscriber. My buddy Jason was very gracious and trusting to send me these two to check out. I will be sending them back to him after I'm done. And this one here was gifted to me by another subscriber, my buddy Dean. And this was the first Finch I had ever handled. This is the Finch Holliday. And I was absolutely blown away at the quality, fit and finish, the attention to detail, just a lot of really great things about this knife. So we were talking about finches in one of my lives, and Jason decided to send me these two. So we're just going to kind of go over all 3 of them. These are the only 3 Finch knives I have ever handled. But I know that this Holliday is a pretty popular one, and this one, the Buffalo Tooth, is also pretty popular. And I think this one is too. I'm not really sure. I know for a fact that these two are pretty popular, but they're all really good. So let's start with this one. This is the Finch Harvester. We have green micarta and a stainless steel bolster up here. We got 3 little milling lines in there just for aesthetic value. We have a really nice titanium milled pocket clip. Now we'll talk about pocket clips in a second, but all 3 of these have different titanium clips, which I think is really cool. They don't just make one clip for all of their knives. They make them each different, specific to the knife, which is really cool. So this is the only titanium on the knife. The rest of this is stainless steel. I think this is considered probably a bolster lock. It's basically a frame lock, but you can see here that this micarta inlay is covering up most of that lock bar. So you just have this showing up here in the bolster. Now, I don't know exactly what you would call this blade shape. I would think it's either some kind of modified sheep's foot or Wharncliffe. I would probably go with modified sheep's foot, but we have this hump here. This thing is really comfortable for draw cuts. Your pointer finger kind of rests just naturally up on here, and you can get a lot of pressure down on that point for draw cuts or any kind of intricate cutting tasks where you need to have a lot of pressure on that tip. This is a really cool one. The action is fall shut. I think that's because the blade is a bit heavier, and these are on bearings. The action on all 3 of these knives is really incredible. The way they tune the detents on these knives is excellent. As soon as you press that flipper tab, give it a little bit of pressure, and that detent breaks, jumps up on the face of the tang there, and the blade just absolutely flies out. We are freaking thin at the edge here. All 3 of these are very slicey. You can see we have the little Finch shield logo there in the center. It is glow in the dark, and you can kind of see it's a shiny kind of covering over that logo, and it was brought to my attention that that is actually sapphire, which is a very hard material. Very cool. You can see the detent snap as the blade closes. Very good. Let's look at the next one here, the one that I own, the Finch Holliday. Same, a lot of same elements. This one has red micarta inlay. Now the inlay on this one in particular is really incredible. You run your finger across the seam here, and you can barely feel that transition between the micarta and the stainless steel. Barely feel it. Also with the where it transitions over the shield here, you can feel a difference in texture with your finger, but you cannot feel where that sapphire meets this micarta. It's basically perfect inlay, which is pretty crazy. It takes really exact tolerances to be able to make that work. This one also has a titanium clip, a little bit of a different shape, and this blade is a Warncliffe. Now, this thing is incredibly sharp, incredibly pointy, very, very thin at the edge. I actually dropped this on accident, and it stabbed right into me, pretty deep. So, yeah, be careful. This thing is really, really slicey. We actually I think on all of them, I forgot to mention on this one, there's a little choke up spot. So there's jimping here. You can put your finger right up there really comfortably on this one. And also on this one, very comfortably choke up. Kind of a different choke up area than we usually see. Usually it's more of a choil. But this one, the flipper tab kind of comes out and gives you a nice little jimped area to rest your pointer finger. Very comfortable. All three of these knives are really comfortable in the hand. Pretty neutral handles. We're not dealing with a bunch of finger choils and grooves. It's just, this one in particular is just a rectangle. So, there's nothing to hurt your hand. This clip lays pretty flat against the scale. All these edges are nicely rounded, so even though it looks blocky, it is very, very comfortable to hold on to. This one also is featuring a bolster lock. Not quite as false shut as the Harvester. I think that's just because it's a much lighter blade. But man, the detent on this one in particular seems to be the best out of the three. It's incredible. The first time I flipped it, I was flabbergasted. You can go back and watch my unboxing of this knife. It was unbelievable. Just the tiniest amount of pressure on the flipper tab and this thing just pops right out. Really, really amazing. Now there's not much milling going on the insides of these knives. So they are on the heavier side, but it's not, they're not heavy to a point where they feel cumbersome. They're heavy. They're just heavy enough to feel quality, to feel very sturdy. They feel premium, and they're not too heavy to where you feel this weighting down in your pocket at all. Man, the detent on this one is just, listen to that. Oh, it's so good. It's so freaking good. The lock bars on all three of these are very easy to push over. There's no jimping in here. It's just kind of a block of steel, but they're so easy to push over. It does not even hurt your finger one single bit. I don't know, something about it. It's it's the tension that is pushing this way is just enough to where it keeps this thing solidly locked up, but not too much to where it hurts to push to push it over. Very, very comfortable to disengage that lock bar. All right, let's get to the big boy here. This one is, if you watched my unboxing of this one last night, it was, I couldn't stop smiling, man. This thing is unbelievable. It's full titanium construction. We have beautiful jigging here on the titanium, and the shield inlay there is perfectly done. Amidst this jigging, you can see it just fits perfectly in there. It's really a marvel of machining. Another thing I was curious about was, this jigging was obviously done by some kind of mill, but they're not all identical. There's some randomness going on with the jigging. So I'm curious to see I wonder how they did that. They must have programmed the mill to, make it random, or they just, when they were making the CAD or whatever program they used to program the mill, they programmed it to where it was, not uniform, which is how it should be. It would look kind of weird if all these were, exactly the same space away from each other and the same size. So really, really good job on the milling there. This one has a titanium clip as well, different shape as the others. Suits this knife perfectly. So full titanium construction. Let's flip this baby. Unbelievable stubby blade. This thing is much bigger than it seems. When I saw the pictures of it, I thought, wow, I thought it was much smaller than it really was. And when I took it out of the packaging, I was amazed. This thing is fat. You can see I can barely even close my fist around the whole thing. Really, really, really comfortable to hold on to. It just fills out your hand so nice, especially choked up right here. This thing feels really, really good in my hand. Very, very good. The blade gets really thin at the edge. This looks like a spear point blade to me, or pretty close to it, possibly a drop point. Kind of high tip, but you don't really have to raise your hand up too far to get to it, just because it's so, stubby. There's this one's more of a frame lock. That we don't have an inlay covering up that lock bar there. It's all exposed. Detent is really, really good. Flipper tab, really comfortable. You can see this thing just pops out super easily. Give it a couple of shakes and it falls back in. This thing is really unique. I've never handled a knife that was anything close to this. I want one so bad. It's just really, really cool. It's not your typical knife. It's something outside the box, and Finch just really nailed it. You might think looking at it that it looks weird or it looks too stubby, but man, trust me, as soon as you get this in your hand and you hold it like this, you will want to put it to work. You will want to start cutting with this thing. And I don't own it, so I'm not going to be doing any cutting with it, but one day I will own this. I've made a promise to myself. I will own this one day, and I will cut with it. It's just it's really amazing. All the blade steel on all three of these is 154 cm, which I think is a perfectly good choice. It's I wouldn't say it's the highest end steel, but it's a great mid range to good, mid to great blade steel. One of my favorites, actually. It's easy to sharpen. It takes a wicked edge, and the edge retention is very good. So these are expensive knives. They're over $100. I'm not sure exactly how much they are. I will link them all below. This one obviously will be more than the other two since it's all titanium. Let me let my dog out really quick. So they are not cheap knives, but once you get one in your hand, if you ever get a chance to borrow one from somebody or just buy one yourself, you will immediately see that they are worth the money. The build quality on these things is really excellent. The tolerances, the detents, they're just so freaking smooth. This one, probably because it's newer, is just glassy smooth when you close this blade. I don't feel any grime or grit in the pivot. It is just glassy. No resistance at all. Really, really incredible. Obviously this one, like I said, completely falls shut with that heavier blade. And man, I've become a huge Finch fan. I really have. I was curious about them for a long time, but I never, I never totally understood, people's infatuation with them until I got one in hand, and I realized what the fuss was about. They're just they're really good. I don't know how else to put it. They're really, really good. Man, yeah. They're really good. Trust me. Yeah. That's 3 Finch knives: the Harvester, the Holliday, and the Buffalo Tooth. Thanks again to Jason for lending me these two, and thank you to my buddy Dean for getting this one for me. One of the best gifts I've ever gotten, honestly, is this knife. I love it. I freaking love it. That'll do it, folks. Yeah, I'm going to have individual reviews on these guys. I just wanted to do a video with all three so that you could see them all together, see the differences in size. Actually, you know what? Let's do a little size comparisons real quick. Let's see, how should I do this? I'll probably put, yeah, let's do it like that. Let's put up a couple knives here in the middle so you can see what we're dealing with. They're all smaller than the Griptilian here. Let's get out the Ontario Rat 2. Pretty similar in size. How about the CVV Altus? Again, pretty similar in size. I would consider these all to be medium-sized knives. And then how about the Spyderco Paramilitary 2? Bigger than all of them. They're really a perfect size for EDC. Really, really perfect. This one's a bit heavier than the others, but still, I would absolutely carry this thing. It is nowhere near too heavy for me. Probably if you were wearing like basketball shorts or something, it might be a little too heavy. But for regular jeans or Carhartts or whatever, this is definitely not too heavy to carry. These two, very, they're on the heavier side. Definitely not too heavy to carry. I think they're perfect size, shape. All of these blade shapes are very, very useful as EDCs, especially these two. Just that having that low tip is just really perfect for EDC tasks. So that'll about do it. Did I mention that all of these shields glow in the dark? I don't think I did. This one I noticed actually glows blue, while these other two are more of a green. See if you can see that. Can you see it? No. Let me charge it up a little bit more. I think it's I don't see a super practical use for having these glow. I mean, I guess if you dropped your knife somewhere behind your bed or something, you might be able to see it. It's just a cool thing. I don't know if you can see that blue. Probably not. Let's try this one. I think this one's cool that it glows blue. It's kind of like goes better with all that titanium. There, you can see that one. Yeah, super cool knives. If you ever get a chance, get your hands on a Finch. You won't be disappointed. One of these three I would recommend without hesitation, but obviously they have a lot of other really good designs. I'll link all these below, and go check them out. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.